Everybody, how you doing? It's the Birdman, and it's the Birdman Show. Now, before we get started, I just want to paint a picture for you when it comes to this episode that we're going to be doing. We're talking about the case of Natalia Grace. Okay, so I just want you to kind of get this image in your mind before we start this episode. Imagine you live next door to a couple and they have a child that they have recently adopted. This child has a lot of physical disabilities. This child basically can't take care of themselves. And then imagine if they paint this picture of them taking care of this child and doing all this, but then later you hear that this child has been left in an apartment for an entire year by itself, by theirself, that the family just took off and left this child in an apartment for an entire year. Then imagine them coming and telling you that it really was never a child. It was just someone who was posing as a child. Now you start hearing this, you're thinking it's straight out of a movie. Some might even immediately think about the movie The Orphan, because it sounds a lot like how that movie started off. We're going to talk about this case. And in a lot of this, you're going to be thinking, yo, this can't be happening. This could not have happened. But unfortunately, it did. We're going to get into some more details. See what happens when a military vet discovers the world of podcasting in an all new. Wait. Hey, sound guy, did I read this right? They give a military vet his own podcast show? Now, who in the world thought that was. You're still recording, aren't you? Oh, edit that out. See what happens when a military vet discovers the whole new world of podcasting in an all new The Birdman Show. For real, Cletus, edit that out, man. I need his job. Yo, what is up? It's your boy, it's the Birdman, here on the Birdman Show. Go ahead and do it with me one time. That's right. We're back with another episode of the Birdman Show. And you know, I'm always rolling with the big boys. I've got my main man, Ace. I've got Big Sam here, and we are here to talk about another crazy case. And we're talking about the crazy case of Natalia Grace. Gentlemen, first and foremost, how are you guys doing? Ace, what's going on with you, man? How's everything going?
I can't complain. I mean, I could,
No
but
one cares,
it's
though.
not going to get me anywhere. So
Right.
I'm doing good. You're right. This is a crazy case from beginning to end. It's just insane, and I'm just ready to dive into it.
All right. Big Sam, how are you doing?
Well, I was gonna say what he was gonna say, or what he said. Excuse me. Oh my goodness.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Got a
Weird
hairball there?
case though, man. Man, I had something.
That beard.
Weird case though, man. I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys are gonna be speaking about. You know, when it comes to some of it, because I feel like, and with a couple of these that we've done, I feel like some of the information that I'm getting is just really kind of going at it, you know, and it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to really determine what's the truth of the matter. So, ready to get into it.
Yeah, well, what I'm finding out, and what I found out when I did a lot of the research for this, and the thing was, I started off really well with taking notes, and then I stopped because I felt like Big Sam, the information just was, just like just right there, and it's like you're like, wait, what? Hold up, wait, what's going on here? And so I just stopped and I just started listening. And so there's a lot of different sides in this. Some people are extremely on the adopted parent side. Some people are really on Natalia's side. And there's just I don't know. We're gonna get into that, but before we do that, I gotta tell you this real quick message. The Birdman Show is powered by Riverside.fm. Riverside.fm is the easiest and only way to do a podcast. Well, maybe not the only way to do a podcast, but the only way I'll do a podcast ever again. Riverside has amazing editing tools and an unmatched community of experts that will help you take your podcast to the next level. So if you want to know more about how to get in touch with Riverside, just go to the link in the Tim Birdman Simpson Facebook profile and take flight with your boy, the Birdman, in Riverside, and we'll see you in the clouds. Okay, gentlemen. Good God. Yeah, you went ahead and did the Birdman signal for me. It's almost starting to get kind of like the Batman signal. Um, hey, both wings, winged creatures. But anyways, gentlemen, this episode, um, like I said, to begin with, when
Both
we
winged
start,
creatures, but you don't have all the cool tools and cars and
I
stuff.
also don't have the money. I don't care about the tools and the gadgets stuff. I just wanted Bruce Wayne's money. I don't care about the other stuff.
Valid.
I don't really like
Valid.
Halloween to begin with. I don't like Halloween to begin with, so I don't want to be dressing up like that every night. So yeah. Anyways, but this episode was this case is one of the strangest ones that we probably will talk about, and that's it. Won't be the craziest one. It's going to be the strangest one. And the fact that you have this child, okay, in question, that gets adopted at age. I want to say they said that she was roughly about when she first got adopted. She was roughly about 5. She came to the United States around 5 when she got first adopted out of Ukraine, and stayed with one family, and then that family gave her up. She went to another family, and then that family gave her up, and before she ended up with the Barnetts. So roughly when she got to the Barnett, she was roughly about 7, pretty close to 7 years old. And so you have this child. She had some severe issues. I'm gonna read these off for you real quick. Um, let's see. She was dealing with the diapostry dysplasia. I believe that's how you say it. Trust me, these medical terms. Um, but it's a disease which affects cartilage formation, and it could lead to malformed bones in the neck, spine, ankles, pelvis, knees, arms, and hands. She also had severe sclerosis and a club foot. She also had contractor contractures, something like that. I don't know. Look it up. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know all these terms. But it's a condition that what it is a shortening and hardening of muscles and tendons or tissues, often leading to deformity and uh rigid of joints. Okay. Now, she had a lot of medical issues. Okay, so she was suffering from dwarfism. She had dysplasia. She had sclerosis. She had this other condition which tightened the muscles, tendons. She had a lot of issues. Okay, when she was born, her mother was basically told by the doctors in Ukraine that she'd be better off giving her up because she had all these medical issues. She'd be better off giving her up and just trying to have another healthy baby. And what I found out doing my research, that happens quite a bit, especially in Ukraine. Um, and people don't realize this in Ukraine. A lot of the orphanages, there was a report that was done. I can't remember when it was. I think it was done in 2022. There was at least 5 major orphanages that were over in Ukraine, and each of them were receiving pretty close to $100 million a year from the state to help run these orphanages. So that's pretty big money. We'll get into a little bit more of that later with some theories and everything. But anyway, she comes to the U.S. She gets adopted, and she's adopted. We'll get a little more about the whole adoption process. I don't want to jump too far ahead. I want to hear from my co-host. So first, what we're going to do, Ace, talk to me a little bit about when we decided to do this episode on this topic. What are some of the things that kind of stuck out to you without getting too far into it? But kind of give us your feeling and take on this case of Natalia Grace.
I'll go ahead and start off by saying that it's fucked. It's messed up. I'm sorry. I didn't catch myself, but I caught myself. It's messed up at the aspect that, okay, you want a child so bad that you adopt them from another country halfway across the world, and then you get them over here, and because of their medical condition, you I mean, they had their own kids. They had biological kids.
Yeah, they had 3 at the time.
And I don't know if they decided that they wanted another kid, that they couldn't have more kids. That's why they adopted. But to adopt them and then to basically turn your back on them with the details that go along with the way that she was treated within the year that she was here, it pisses me off as a parent that somebody would do that to a kid. Without giving too much, I'm gonna leave it at that. I mean, there's a lot. I'm gonna say there's some triggers coming up, and I'm probably going to get vocal whenever we get to them. So I apologize to the viewers. I apologize to the chat. You two can just piss off.
I don't really care. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, I am gonna get triggered because this one just it upsets me on a lot of different levels. Big Sam, same thing to you, buddy. What are some of your thoughts before we move into the show a little further?
Yeah, I kind of just instantly started thinking of that movie, The Orphan. I mean, regardless of if everything that her adoptive parents claim is true or not, it reads just like that movie. So if anybody's seen it, they kind of have an idea of like what this will probably look like. But yeah, man, it's weird. It's a weird one.
Yeah, like I said, I prefaced the orphan. And the thing about it, when this case kind of took off, and kind of came to light. Well, no, it's before this case came to light. So roughly about a year before everything started coming out about what's going on, what went on with Natalia Grace, the movie The Orphan came out. And if you haven't watched that movie, it's a great movie. It'll have you questioning everything. It has me like if I go to the grocery store or I'm out walking somewhere or I go to the mall, son, I'm looking at all these kids like, man, you look 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, got me questioning these kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust nobody no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust kids. I don't trust dogs. People say, "Oh, my dog's only a year old." No, that is a full grown dog. Don't no. So it's got me questioning a lot of stuff. That movie was crazy. in the sense that that actually, I mean, think about it. Think about it when you run into somebody, and I know we've all done this. We've ran into somebody in our lifetime. They look much younger than they actually really are. And you know, we normally, I'm not gonna say we. I'm gonna speak for myself. Normally, when you see that, or when you know, you feel like that about somebody, you know they're an adult. They just don't look older. They just don't look as old as they say they are. So I mean, imagine that being somebody who, you know, is dealing with a lot of the issues she's dealing with which was dwarfism, and all the other medical issues she was dealing with. So, I mean, you're thinking, okay, this little person, is a little person as in a little person adult, or a little person as a little person kid. And for all intents and purposes, she looked young. But then when you look at the some of the medical issues she was having, with the tightness of the muscles, tightness of the joints, maybe that played into the fact that she looked so young. If you're leaning on the side more of the parents saying that she was older than what she is. So eh, the case is crazy. All right, the case is just freaking crazy. Um, Big Sam, let me start with you. What did you find when it came to basically the adoption, around the time frame? I believe it was in, oh my god, what was it 2000? Was it 2011 when she was adopted? I'm not seeing that on my. Was it, huh? Was it Ace?
2010.
2010. Okay, so a year off. We're a year off. I mean, hey, the case is about all about being off on time anyway, so might as well keep going with it. So 2010, basically when she was adopted. Okay, so now her adoption papers said that she was born September 4th, 2003. Yeah, September 4th, 2003. Um, which is crazy because that means she was a few months, about 3 or 4 months, about four, no.
10 or 7.
So she was 8 months younger than my daughter, my oldest daughter, because she was born February of 2003. So that's you. I just literally thought that's why I had to make sure I was doing the math correctly, because now that just adds a whole different level of disgust for me towards the adopted parents. Because my daughter was a preemie. She was 3 months. She was born 3 months early. She was 1 pound 3.5 ounces when she was born. Her first outfit I ever bought for her was at a Build-A-Bear store. It was the smallest bear they had, that smallest outfit they had, and it was still too big for her. To think about how small she was, some of the medical issues that she was having then, which she grew out of, thankfully. But to think about that, and then think about this child and the things that she went through. Oh Lord. Okay, you know what? Big Sam, talk about some of the things that you came up with, that you're seeing, that you saw when you were doing your research, on this story, and kind of lead us into what's going on here.
Um, so a little bit of this we've already kind of touched on, and I don't want to get ahead of myself too much. But yeah, she was adopted in 2010 by the Barnetts. Um, there wasn't a whole lot that I had seen about the adoption. A lot of what I had seen was just kind of what happened afterwards. Um, they did end up changing her birth year.
Mhm.
That was kind of like their first kind of initial thing with like all of this. They changed her birth year from 2003 to 1989, and that was just it just happened. It willy nilly. Like there was no issues or whatever with that apparently. Um, she did end up having a DNA test done through True Diagnostic that said that she was about 20. whenever she had it done. So this was well after the abandonment and all of this stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at now with kind of the early stuff. Like I said, I don't want to jump ahead too much. So
Okay. Ace, you have anything to add to that? About the same right now, where we're at right now within the story?
With the things that you touched on, Sam. No, I don't. Because if I start adding to what Sam's already touched on, then I'm not going. I'm going to have word vomit come out of my mouth, and I'm not going to be able to stop it.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Fair
I'm
enough.
I'm just going to
And I
say,
will say this, Ace. I will say this: the first step to recovery is realizing you have a problem. So I'm very proud of you, sir. I want to thank you very much. If I had a
that
pen to
doesn't
give
mean that
you,
it's going to
I'd give
make
it
it
to you.
past this episode.
I know. I'm just saying, but it's the first step. We got to build from that. You're
I
good,
will
brother.
work
Don't
on
worry.
it.
We got you, man. Hey, we all big family right here. All right, so check it out. Okay, so let's start diving a little bit more into this. Okay, so like we alluded to, she was adopted in 2010. She was adopted by an American family, and then they abandoned her roughly about 2 years later. Barnett's adopted parents claimed that she was an adult, basically when they got her. Now, some of the things that they said was after they got her, they took her. I think it was to the hotel. Christine was giving her her first bath, giving her their first bath of them giving her as their child, and she claimed that she had pubic hair. Um. So look, I don't know when it comes to medical issues, when it comes to people having diseases, when it comes to people having these type of problems she was having. I don't know much about the development of how that stuff works. I know that some tend to develop faster. That if children with these types of diseases are not on some type of hormonal um, medication that helps control that, they can actually develop as a full adult years before they're actually supposed to. That much I do know. So it could have been one of those things, and her coming from Ukraine, and then no one actually ever taking her in medically to get figured out what she needs and all that stuff. That could have been one of those things that happened. Now, I will say this: if you have not watched the ID special, the Curious Case of Natalia Grace, if you have not watched that, I'm telling you right now, it's a must watch. Um, what I learned from that documentary is I don't believe a word that the Barnett said when it comes to Natalia. I don't believe a word. Um, I would say the only smart person out of those two, Christine and Michael, was Christine. And the reason why I say that because she only did one interview, and you really haven't heard much from her since. But she did say enough leading up to that that makes her look like a complete another idiot as well. But Michael, the father, I wanted to throat punch him every single time he spoke. Every single time. Now that every single time I look, I was looking at this case, doing different research for this, and I saw his face. I really, literally, just wanted to just punch my screen because this guy in this documentary just is just unhinged. Um, and a lot of things that he talks about, and this and that, with the family and everything. I There's nothing credible about him. There's nothing credible about his wife. There is nothing credible about anything that they were talking about. As we'll go through this, talk more about this case. Like we talked about. What was the case that we talked about with what was the last episode we just did? Lord Jesus, we done so many episodes.
Last
I'm
we did was Simpsons.
okay. Simpsons. So before that we did Andrea Yates.
Yes.
And so when we talked about that case, we talked about how the doctors, were telling them this, and that, and then only one doctor was only the one that really tried to help Andrea out, and get her on the medication. But in this case, all the doctors were telling the Barnetts that she was a child. The medical records they did, the when they took her to the dental office, and they did the X-rays, and they said yes, or she has the jaw structure, her teeth, is that of a child, and they estimated her between roughly from all the doctors because it was hard to kind of estimate how old she was, but they knew she was a child. So the estimation of her age was varied between 8 and 11, 11 being the oldest. Now this was over the next couple of years. So they were going through all this, this stuff. Big Sam alluded to the fact they got her age changed. They got her age changed because they used Michael Barnett's primary physician. He was the one that said she was older than what she claimed to be. He was the one that helped them get her age or birth date changed from September 4th of September 4th of 2003 to September 4th, 1989. He was the one that helped him get it changed. And the letter he wrote the judge, well, here's the thing. The letter was typed up. Okay, so the letter was typed up, and to this day has never been verified that the doctor, which is it's Dr. McLean, his name is Dr. McLean, it's never been verified that he's actually the one who wrote the letter. So that's another thing. And to me, what I don't understand is if that was the case, why didn't they have that changed back, and why didn't they take them back? Were they prosecuted again? It just there's a lot of stuff that goes on with this case that just really irritates me, mainly because I'm confused about it. I don't like being confused when it comes to stuff like this. This should not be something that's confusing. Some people will say, well, she's from, it's easy to falsify those documents as far as her birth date, and that because she was from the Ukraine, it's easier for them to falsify her medical records. I could say yeah, but the fact that they tracked down her birth mother, they did a DNA test to confirm it was her birth mother, and she completely and utterly backed up Natalia's story. She was born September 4th, 2003. She has the original birth certificate. And then everything's been confirmed. And then when you look at everything that was not released in the trial, because the judge wanted to keep Natalia's age out of it. And because of that, that's the reason why Michael walked. That's the reason why Christina never got charged and was released, because they kept her age out of it. And if it wasn't for that, they would have had to introduce all the evidence, which the prosecution office of Indiana sent two detectives over to Ukraine and verified everything. They verified that she was a child when all this was going on. And it just, maybe we'll do an episode on the justice system. Every single time we do an episode and it has to do with something with the justice system, I lose a little bit more faith in the justice system. I'm not gonna throw the fact that being a black man, living in this day age, I don't know, it's shocking that like I said, every time I walk by a mirror, I shock myself. I call 911 because I think a black man's trying to rob me. I know.
Black? Really?
I know.
You know that, Sam?
I know. Sam didn't know that because
Wow.
everybody thinks Sam's my kid. So, I mean, it is what it is. But it's 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 hard. It's hard to, you know what I'm saying? I have friends who are cops, and I will say this, to the end of time. There are bad cops. There are a lot, and unfortunately, there's probably a lot more bad cops than there are good cops. But people have to understand, just because they wear that uniform doesn't automatically make them a great person. If they're a complete jerk or whatever they were before they put that uniform on, they're pretty much are the same person with that uniform. They just have more power, or presumed more power. They presume to think they have more power. Um, because I dealt with the same thing when I was in the military. Don't think just because we put that military uniform on, we're automatically these upstanding Captain America individuals, out there, defending the freedom and all this. There's a lot of different people that wear these uniforms. Okay. And this oh Lord Jesus. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Okay, so Ace. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. All right, because I I know, uh, I can see Big Sam is barely able to contain himself. But we're we're gonna take a quick commercial break, so that way we can gather our thoughts, and compose ourselves. And when we come back, Ace, what I want you to do is, I'm gonna give you that opportunity to, go ahead and lean into the story and get us really more in depth into what's going on here. And we'll be right back with more of the Birdman Show. Hey, it's the Birdman here, and I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? If so, have you heard about Spotify for podcasters and why it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place? Allow me to explain. Spotify for podcasters has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, tablet, or computer. And when hosting on Spotify for podcasters, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. It's really everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And the best thing about it, it's totally free. So what are you waiting for? Go to podcasters.spotify.com to get started. And just tell them a little birdie told you. A Birdman, that is. Yo, what's up? How are we doing? It's your boy, it's the Birdman. Do it with me one time. That's right. It's the Birdman. We're here on the Birdman Show. I'm still rocking and rolling. I got my man Ace. I got my man Big Sam somewhere. Oh, there he is. And we're still rocking and rolling here on the Birdman Show. And on this episode, we are talking about the case of Natalia Grace. And we haven't even really got into it, and already I can already I feel myself getting flustered. I can see it on Ace's face. Big Sam is keeping the same face, poker face that he always has. So he's hard man to read. Love it. So it's one of those. This is one of those cases that ugh. Okay. So like I said in the first segment, we talked about, we gave a little bit of background on what was going on with Natalia, the Barnetts, Michael, and Christine. We hit on a few things that, we'll probably touch a little bit more on as the show goes on, and talking about it. For those who are in the, chat right now in the live studio audience, if you start having questions, start asking questions. We'll keep track of them. We'll roll with it, answer them as we go. But keep the comments coming. And if you would like to be part of the live studio audience, and I'm talking to you who are watching this video right now, if you would like to be part of the live studio audience, all you have to do is go to riverside.fm/studio/Birdman hyphen studio. I'll have the link to the show and the studio later on. But yeah, if you like to become part of it, and I'm telling you, it's fun because, like I said, we get to interact with the audience members as the show is going on uh, live. Well, live as we're recording it. We get to interact with people there, and it's fun. It's good because sometimes they make a comment that sparks an idea off in our heads, and we go and we roll with it. So definitely, if you want to join us and become a live studio member, definitely go to riverside.fm/studio/birdmans hyphen studio. Okay, gentlemen, let's get a little bit more into this. Okay, so Ace, before I turn it over to you, the first one of the things I want to say is now I don't have the actual dates for this, but Natalia actually was adopted. She was adopted by two other families before she was adopted by the Barnetts. Now I didn't get it. I didn't get the names for the first two families. But the first family was in New Hampshire. And one of the reasons why they said that they gave her up for adoption, or was said she was given up for adoption, was because Natalia and one of the sons, because they had two boys, were play fighting. They were basically wrestling, which is still kind of funny to me as far as if she was having all these physical issues and she was wrestling with one of the boys. Anyways, um, said they were wrestling, and then that Natalia had fell on the boy, and she fell on him in a way that when he fell, he landed on his arm and almost broke his arm. And it was said that the family said that they felt it was more intentional than it was them just playing. So that was the reason why it was said that she was given up for adoption. Now the second family, which I never got where they were located at, but it was said that they had picked up Natalia, um, and it was said that they just felt that there was like an evil presence around her, and even so much so that the father is reportedly saying that he could feel evil, he could tell when there was evil, and he said that he just felt that there was something evil about this child. This child is evil. Which, like I said, growing up, I can't speak for everybody's family, but I know growing up in a black family, there ain't no such thing as an evil child. The only thing is that exists is you do what you're supposed to do, or you meet the backside of a hand or a leather belt. So we didn't have none of that stuff. Anyways, I just wanted to give that little background information. Ace, why don't you help us get a little bit more background information, share what you have, and then we're going to try to make some sense of this case and hopefully make some sense of what you're talking about.
Natalia was first adopted in New Hampshire by Diane and Gary Saccone, who didn't speak in either documentary about the incident. Her first adopted family may have been more significant than previously thought. So that's who adopted her in New Hampshire. So you gotta love the power of the interwebs.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But in that one, it didn't go into the
yeah,
reason
it
why they
doesn't
gave
go
her up.
into much detail on that one, and it's not showing anything um, about the second family
Yeah,
either.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That information I just gave you about the two families, I got from the Dr. Phil interview they did.
Gotcha. Go, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
you know what I'm
So,
saying. I called Dr. Phil up and said, "Yo, bro, I need a little background information." He's like, "Hey, brother, I got you." And so he told me a little bit and we talked. So go ahead, Ace.
well, at least you got that relationship with him. I mean,
Yeah, me and Dr. Phil, we cool, we cool.
um, to get back into the case, number one, whether Michael's primary doctor is the one that actually typed up that letter, or not, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to slip. I'm just going to let you know right now. Whenever I get excited, I word vomit.
I know.
Okay. How in the hell can you sit there and mistake an 8-year-old girl to be 23 years old? I mean, to change her date of birth from 2003 to 1989, that is a huge, significant gap. And for them to do that just so that they don't have to be responsible for it anymore, one, shame on you. That is, they totally should have gotten, if nothing else, neglect of a minor. I mean, not a slap on the hand and say, don't do it again. The reason why her age was not brought into it is because whenever they did their investigating and they found out that her actual birthday was September 4th, 2003, at the time, she was a minor.
Mhm.
And any information regarding her is sealed. So they could not use her age as an argumenting fact, as a factor to fight the case, to get them fuckers locked up. I'm sorry, it's aggravating as.
Okay, hold up. Take a breath. I'm gonna give you a chance to take a breath so I can say this. Now, 100% you're right. Now, the thing, like I said, that bothers me when it comes to that is the fact that one thing we haven't said yet was probably the factor and the reason why the Barnetts did that and had her age changed. Because what was going on at that time. I don't know if you have that in your information. Okay, so I'm going to say that, and I'll let you lead in. Huh?
Depending on which information you're talking about.
The oldest boy.
No, I do not.
Okay. So their oldest son, at that time, he had been before that he had been diagnosed with autism. The doctor said he would probably never be able to develop, wouldn't be able to tie his own shoe, probably wouldn't be able to read or write. But turns out, dude was a freaking genius, mathematical genius. He had an IQ of 170, which was higher than Einstein. He was projected to graduate college in his teens. And at that time, right before this all happened, was accepted to a school, prestigious school in Canada. And so the family was going to have to go. Now, most people say, well, they probably just didn't want to have to take Gypsy. Good Lord. They didn't want to have to take.
Gypsy Rose was a while back.
Oh, good God. And I'm not going to edit that out either. And they were going to be able to take Natalia. Now, here's the thing that most people don't realize. Canada, as of right now, as far as I know, unless they've changed that law, Canada has the free healthcare and all this and that. But they also had a law in place. Like I said, it might still be in place. I don't know if they changed it. They talked about getting it off the books, that you couldn't become a citizen of Canada if you had a pre-existing condition. So anything that was going
free healthcare.
yeah, because I mean, anything that is going to be something that's going to call for long term health care. You could not apply to become a citizen. You couldn't enter the country as a citizen. And a lot of people, they talked about Canada. Oh, that's just messed up. How can they say that they pride themselves on humans and human rights and this and that, and they have this stupid law? Well, they have free health care. Yes, I can see where people are having a problem with that. I can see why Canada would put that in place, because what would stop anybody from coming to Canada lying, saying that they don't have anything wrong with them, and then all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh, I got this wrong with me, so since I'm a citizen of Canada, now I get free healthcare." So I get it. That's if you're gonna provide free healthcare, you probably ought to put something in place that's gonna protect you a little bit. But it is what it is. Um, so that was going on at that time. So a lot of people were speculating because of the simple fact that Gypsy was going to have surgery. She had a club foot as well.
Natalia.
Natalia, yeah, that's called Gypsy again.
You said gypsy.
Jesus, God. Uh, 18 episodes in, and everything's running together. Oh, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Natalia, Gypsy is doing well as far as I know. I'm sorry, Gypsy. Then I'll keep bringing you back in. But anyways, Natalia was going to have surgeries. She had a club foot. That's one thing I didn't mention because of her joints and everything. And so at a point in time, they said like for almost 2.5 years, she was walking on her toes. Because for her to walk, it was painful. So she was trying to compensate for that, and that's one of the reasons why she started developing that club foot as well. Now, Ace, are you good?
Yes. No.
You're composed.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay. All right. Well, I try to give you a little breath there, so that way you can come right back in and run with it. All right. So you're on. Let's go.
My biggest thing is I do not understand why the age was inadmissible, considering that was one of the things that they had changed to be able to do what they were doing. But whatever. The thing of it is if she was born in 2000 or 1989, her
Mhm.
mother would have been 10 years old whenever she gave birth to her because she was born in 79.
Mhm.
That was one of the things because I mean they had her mother provide her birth certificate showing
Yep.
what her birth date was. They did a DNA test, seen Natalia's birth certificate where she was born in 2003. The DNA test matched, and that proved that she'd have been 8 years old at the time that all of this was going on. Wait,
Yes.
7, 8, 9, because this was in
9. Should've been 9.
2012. She'd have been 9 years old whenever all of this was going on. And the messed up thing about it is after they had adopted her in 2009 is when the movie Orphan came out.
Yes.
And they said that they seen the movie, and based off of the movie, they didn't notice this before they watched the movie, but after they seen the movie, miraculously Natalia started exhibiting sociopath tendencies. So
Ugh.
she is got this condition now that could snap at any time and become like the lady on the Orphan, and that was the basis on them nullifying the adoption. They went through with the age change, and like you said, they put her Indiana Britt. I'm sorry, I love you to pieces, but your state is fucked. That they let this shit that go on, and they let them put a 10 year old little girl in an apartment by herself and live there for a year alone. It doesn't say whether or not they funded her for that year, but it does say later on that somebody else, I can't, does anybody have the name of the lady that came in and I seen it? I'm not.
Which one? You talking about the family
one,
she's staying with now?
yes.
Um, I it's the
It
same
does,
family that went with her on the Dr. Phil interview.
yeah, it
It's
doesn't look like
a
I
black gentleman and a white lady.
but
Um, they have, I think they have 4 kids now.
but she noticed
Um,
that
Cynthia and Antoine,
Natalia
man.
yeah, it's Cynthia and
Antoine,
Antoine Mann.
okay, Cynthia and Anton one man. They noticed that she was struggling, so they took her in.
Hmm.
And they're the ones that went through all of the tedious bullshit to justify her age.
Which I
And
still don't understand is because even after that, like I said, one doctor was able to her age changed.
and then it took
Um,
a
but they never looked at the medical records where all the other doctors were saying that she was a child.
exactly.
The prosecution office, like I said earlier, they had all the evidence saying that she was a child, but because the judge said that he was not going to allow the age to come into a factor during the trial, they could not present any of that evidence.
And they at that point they should have submitted a motion for change of venue.
They should have done a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah,
things they should have done.
because
Um,
if the judge was not going to allow the age of the child to be admitted as evidence, that
then
right
what was the point
there,
even going to court? What was the point?
right,
What was the point even having the hearing? What was the point of
exactly.
even charging them with anything if you're not? Because if she's 22 at the time with that they're saying, what was the point in even charging them? Because they weren't charging them with like, I mean, well, first, I mean, Natalia wasn't, she wasn't unalived or anything,
Oh yeah,
but they
yeah.
were charging her with neglect, and they were going to charge her with neglect of a minor, but because the age wasn't there, they were going to charge her with neglect because of her disability, which I
They were going
still
to
don't
charge them with neglect
understand.
of a dependent.
Yes, which I still don't understand because they still should both of them still should have been found guilty of that because they put her up in an apartment that was not set up for somebody like that. Okay, before you continue, Ace, Big Sam, what are your thoughts hearing some of the stuff that Ace had brought up to us?
Um, I think she's probably a kid. That's what I think. Um,
I think she's a kid. I saw her Toys R Us, and Chuck E.
I don't
Cheese.
know, man. There was still a part
And
of me that
she
kind of
can't get on
wanted
no rides at Disney World.
like the Barnett
Um,
side to be right, just because like I was like, man, I don't know if you guys were saying something, you guys kind of like cut out, but
no, you good. Go ahead.
I was kind of hoping like the Barnetts were right, like everything that they were saying was like true and everything. I was kind of holding on to that a little bit, just because it would make things more interesting. But yeah, I think she's just a kid, man. She just got some shit wrong with her. Medical
Well,
stuff.
yeah. Physically, she definitely has. And I'm gonna be honest with you. After looking at the case, I'm now noticing there was a lot of mental abuse. Look, man, if you like I said, if you oh my god, you have got to watch that ID special, which I believe it's on Hulu, um, and it's called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, which they're coming out with a second part of it, which is going to be the Curious Case of Natalia Grace, and then it's going to be the subtitle is going to be Natalia Speaks. So this is going to be her first major interview about it since the Dr. Phil interview. And it's basically the same people that directed the first one and did now it's just going to be Natalia, um, telling her side. And I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the first one, you need to watch it. It is freaking insane. Because they show videos, and I don't know. Okay, I don't know. For the people out there, especially the ones that are watching right now, they're in the live chat. If you have children, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if I don't know if I can't speak for everybody. But, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where your parents are trying to tell you. as a child, hey, look, I'm about to do something. I need you to say this. You know, I don't know about y'all. Like if your parents say, hey, if somebody calls, tell them I'm not here, even though they sitting right there on the couch. You know what I'm saying? And like somebody calls you like, hey, is your mom or dad home? No, they're not here. You know, that child's voice of the innocence of they know they're lying, but because their parents told them to say this, they're saying it. Because I would much rather lie. My parents say it's okay for me to lie than not to lie and get beat. You know what I'm saying? And in some of those, in some of the videos that they were taking of this child, and some of the things she said, because there was one where they're saying that she's sitting at a table and she's reading a Bible, and I don't know, like if you're sitting there, you're taking a video of your kid, and you say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they say, "Oh, I'm doing this," and I go, "Why are you doing that?" And then, "Oh, I'm doing this because da da da." Well, it's one of those videos, and they say, "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm reading the Bible," and they're like, "Well, why are you reading the Bible?" And she kind of looks, and she's like, "To get rid of the evil thoughts." Like it was more of a question than a statement. It's how I heard it. It's more of a question, as in, did I say that right? Is that what I was supposed to say? And then there's a video where they're showing where Christine has her standing against the wall. Now, mind you, this child has issues with her legs. You know what I'm saying? It's painful for her to walk. So standing against the wall for 5+ hours to the point where they wouldn't let her, she wouldn't let her leave. If she had to go to the bathroom, she said, "No, you gotta stand there. You gotta do your time." To where she was defecating and urinating on herself. And they thought that was okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like what mm, mm, okay. Okay. Ace, uh what else you got for us, bud? I'm not getting too much into that right now.
Well, I don't want to give all my information's not going anywhere. It'll be there whenever I have the opportunity to talk.
I'm
I,
trying to
I
give you
want,
the opportunity right now.
I,
Okay,
yeah,
so Big Sam.
give it to Big
Okay,
Sam.
listen to yeah, I know. Listen to some of the things we talked about. What do you have to add to where we're at right now in the story? Other than that, you think
To
she's a
where we're
child.
at, I mean, yeah, where we're at right now, I really don't have too much to add. I think you guys kind of covered things so far from where we're at. Um, didn't really have much different information than you guys,
Okay.
and you guys actually had a little bit more than I had, so I kind of learned a little bit. But I don't really have too much to add to where we're at right now, to be honest with you.
Okay. Um. Now, one thing I'll say before we take another quick commercial break. When it came to this, them especially with them trying to figure out her age. I I'm sorry, but wholeheartedly I believe that had that movie The Orphan not came out, this would not have been an issue. I don't think this would have been an issue because they never. I don't honestly. The Barnetts are not that. They're not that intelligent. Michael and Christine are not that intelligent. They never would have came up with the idea of, hey, why don't we just re-age her? And say that she's older than what she actually is. And it's insulting with some of the stuff that they said. One thing I'll say, like I said, real quick, like they I guess they took her to a doctor that said that there was another little girl. Now here's another thing against me. That they said that they went to a doctor and they said there's another little girl that lives in your area that has the same type of disease of dwarfism as Natalia. First of all, what doctor is giving that information out about another patient? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Um, that's one thing. But anyways, they take her and they said, and what they said was, when they talked to the parents of that other little girl, and when they saw Natalia, they were like, well, she looks a little older. I think she looks a little older than what she is. And the pictures that Michael showed of him of Natalia and that other little girl, the features. Now I will say the features of that picture does make it seem like Natalia's a lot older. However, the problem I have with that is all the pictures before that, and we're talking about only a few months before that, are not the same. Her facial features are not the same. So now a lot of people are saying, the photos that they were showing, there's only like maybe two photos they're trying to show like that. They're thinking that a lot of people are thinking those photos were photoshopped because all the other pictures of her, because what they're trying to say, well, her cheekbones were well defined. She didn't have the same cheekbones or facial, features of a child. All other pictures show of her having facial features that look more like a child. Now, if you look at the pictures and you look at even the videos of her that they've shown compared to how it's been since they've shown later videos and pictures, you can definitely see that she has aged. So you can tell. Okay, she definitely was a lot younger than what y'all trying to say she was compared to what she is now. So I don't. This case is confusing me because, like I said, I don't know because with her coming from the Ukraine, other than her mother verifying it and they showing the birth certificate and everything, verifying that, it could be one of those things where maybe she was a little bit older because it's an adoption agency. They're trying to get these kids adopted. They're trying to get them, because they get a kid adopted, they get more money. Um, it could be one of those things. But I honestly believe, like Sam, yeah, I think she was a kid. She's a child. I definitely believe that. I definitely believe that. So we're definitely going with that. I think it's a consistency across the board. She definitely was a child. But um, oh my god, I don't know. Okay, look, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take another quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're gonna talk a little bit more. There's something I want to present to you guys that I want to ask a question on. So we're gonna take this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of the Birdman Show.
Debbie is an energy drink you mix at home. Debbie is formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and neurotropics, including active neurofactors. No calories, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors. So if you need something to give you the energy to take on the world, Debbie Energy is what you need. Go to debbie.gg, that's DUBBY.GG. Use promo code Birdman Show for 10% off your orders. Tell them the Birdman sent you.
Yeah, what is up, man? Hey, it's your boy. It's the Birdman. It's the Birdman Show. Go ahead, and do it with me one time. That is right. It is the Birdman Show. And I'm still here rocking and rolling. I've got my co-host. I've got Big Sam. I've got Ace. And we're still rocking and rolling. We're talking about the case of Natalia Grace. I had some serious mental lapses last segment, and I kept calling Natalia a gypsy. It's probably because I was rewatching the Gypsy Road. Well, I had watched it before the act. It was on before, but then I actually was able to watch the entire thing. And so I was watching that, and so we had finished it up. I think it was last night we finished it up. And so I think that last part was kind of etching in my brain, so that's why I kept going back to Gypsy. So I apologize to Gypsy. I apologize to Natalia because this is all about you, Natalia. Okay, we're trying to get justice for Natalia. Um, well, we are back here with the Birdman Show. Now, one thing I want to talk to you guys about. I wanted to bring this up. Make sure we brought this up because my lovely assistant here had wrote something down that reminded me of something that I was going to say. Um, there's a lot of problems with this story from start to finish on the Barnett side. One of the things that Michael had mentioned in one of the interviews was that they had received a call from an adoption agency in Florida. I can't remember what the name of it was. Uh, I, if I see it, I definitely remember it. I got somebody looking up for it right now. But they got a call from an adoption agency in Florida. After because originally they were supposed to be adopting a child in was it Haiti? Was it Haiti? I think it was Haiti. Was it Haiti that they were supposed to be adopting a child? But anyways, the hurt or earth was it earthquake? I think
Yeah,
it was earthquake.
Angel says it was Haiti.
Haiti. Okay. I believe there was a earthquake that hit that there was I think it was like over I can't remember how many people were killed. I know it was well into the thousands, maybe the 100,000s that were injured, homes that were destroyed and lost. Well, that adoption ended up falling through because of everything that was going on there. So they said after that happened, they received a call from this agency in Florida, and I know it started with an A. I just can't remember the name of it. But anyways, they get a call from them saying that they had researched the Barnetts. They knew about them, and they knew about their foundation because Christine had started a foundation in the name of her oldest son Jacob, the one with autism. I think it was called Jacob's Place. I think something. It was Jacob something, but to help children with autism to hopefully find their way, find their niche, find their gifts, and help them out. And so they thought that they would be the perfect family for Natalia. Now the problem with that is that adoption agencies don't do cold calls. They don't just call you up. They're not just out there researching people for adoptions. Now, the other problem with this is that adoption agency came out and said, we never called them and we didn't have anything. Yeah, it was good. It was Good Shepherd Adoptions in Florida. And that adoption agency they've been in business since 1980. Okay. And they came out and said, they released a statement saying, we never called the Barnetts about Natalia. And in fact, we didn't have anything to do with the adoption of Natalia. So that raises a lot of questions too, as far as how in the world did they get in touch and how did they get Natalia? Because they had to go and get this child, but the adoption agency they said they used was not the one. They came out and already said, hey, we didn't have nothing to do with that. So I don't know why he's saying we did this is that. We definitely did not call him because that's not what we do. That's not what any adoption agency does. So now, as far as I know, talking to a friend of mine who has adopted before, what they did was they put their name on a list, and which with that list, it went out to adoption agencies, as they were a family looking forward to adopt a child. Where it was boy, girl, this is that age, whatever. And then if they met the criteria of the adoption agency, that adoption agency would reach out and say, "Hey, your name was on our list. Here's what we got. Are you interested?" But Michael said that they were called. They didn't have any information on her. What's up?
Not to interrupt you, but I'm going to.
Talking about not to interrupt me, but you just did.
I know that's why I said, but I'm going to. Whenever
Why would you even say that to begin with, though?
Because that's my way of apologizing.
Why?
It's like, shut up. I'm going to interrupt you. Are you done scuffing over there?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
I can keep going.
Whenever it comes to adoption agencies in the United States, you have to have an agent.
Yes.
The adoption agencies go through that agent, and the adoption agencies do not contact you directly. You go to an agency that reaches out to other adoption agencies, and they all come back to that one person, and that one person contacts you That way there's no interaction between you and the agency. So for him to say that he spoke with that agency, that right there is a bold-faced lie, because they have to go through his contact, I guess, in
Kind of like
order
State Farm.
to what?
Kind of like State Farm.
Yeah, Jake, with the
I'm wearing
cat.
khakis.
But yeah, that's all I was going to say. But for him to say that the agency contacted him directly, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and Cindy had made a comment. And like I said, once again, if you want to be part of the live studio audience, just go to riverside.fm/studio/Birdmans -studios to be part of the live studio audience, and be part of the live chats going on as we're recording this. And Cindy had made a comment that that they don't all have to be that way, meaning adoption agencies with the agent and everything. I will agree, but I think the ones that are, I would say, top notch, and probably I would trust more, would be someone who's an agent, that you actually have an agent. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you can probably, like, it's like going to buy a house. You can probably find a house, you know what I'm saying? You can deal right there with the owner, this and that. But there's also a good chance that you might also get railroad by that owner, and not disclosing everything with this going on with that house, if you don't use an agent. Not saying you have to, but I would say, it's probably a good idea. So no, not all not all adoption agencies are like that. Um, but I would say it'd probably be in your best interest to probably use something like that if you decide to go that route and adopt, to go with somebody that that could help you navigate the ins and outs of everything's going to go on with the adoption. Especially if it's your first time and you're trying to learn everything. Yeah, like I said, I have a buddy. Him and his wife did that, and they were telling me about it. And they tried it without an agent, and they almost gave up. But then they tried it because somebody else talked to them. It's like, hey, look, just go through an agent, do the exact same process, but go through an agent. And they did it. They really were glad. They adopted a beautiful little girl. I do not remember where she's from. Doesn't really matter. She's part of their family. She's a beautiful little girl. She was 5 at the time. I think she is now 11. So beautiful girl, worked out beautifully for the family. Very happy for them. So yeah, it is what it is. Friends. This is also come from Cindy. Friends I know adopted from Florida without agent. Once again, that kind of goes to my point. You can definitely do it. And hey, if you're one of those ones that had good luck with it, great. Happy for you. It could go either way. So I would say definitely be careful. If you don't use an agent, at least talk to one. Talk to somebody that has a little bit more knowledge on it. So that way you're not getting railroad. Because as Michael Barnett put it, in this instance, they gave him 24 hours. He said they gave him 24 hours, the family 24 hours to make a decision on if they're going to adopt Natalia. They only sent them 2 pictures, and said that if they're going to do it, it was a closed adoption, so they didn't have any information on her. Now that to me is a red flag to get a call like that. If you got a call like that, that they're not going to get any information. Hey, you want the kid? Fine. If not, we're going to go send the kid to an orphanage or somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, it's kind of a red flag. Like, wait a minute, hold up. You're basically just telling me I'm supposed to come pick this kid up if I want this kid, sight unseen. Basically, all you're doing is sending me a couple pictures, and you're not telling me anything about the child as far as past adoptions. Only thing you're going to give me is a birth certificate, and really no medical records whatsoever at all. That's where I would have an issue, and that's why I say, if that was the case, that's probably what's best to go through an agent, because they'll be able to get more information. They'll probably tell you, hey, look, this is a closed adoption. This is what they're telling you. I don't know if you should do this, but hey, I'll do whatever you want me to do. If you want me to facilitate this, blah blah blah. Boom, go for it. Okay. I don't like the CPS or adoptions agency here where I am. Pokey, where are you at again? Pokey's she's one of our audience members. She's also part of the Ace4 fam
Michigan.
on TikTok. She's in Michigan. Okay. Well, it's Michigan. I mean, there's not much to like there, anyways.
Except for the Wolverines, and that's just this year. I mean,
No, I mean, not
they
even
got
that.
lucky
I mean,
this
not
year.
even that. There was so much controversy with that. I mean, whatever. That's why he left and went to he
The
went to the
NFL, right?
Chargers. But oh god, got me choked up there, buddy. So okay, so we're talking about, like I said, once again, we're talking about the case of Natalia Grace. There's a lot of things that you really start to question. One thing that I don't think is really in question is the fact that Natalia was a child when all this was going on. Now you can speculate whether she was 8, you can speculate whether she was 9. The consensus is she was anywhere between 9 and 11 years old. When the Barnetts basically, and mainly Christine, got her an apartment, put her in that apartment while the family left to go live in Canada with their 3 boys. Also during this time, they took trips to Europe. They were taking trips all over the place, and they were taking all these pictures. They even took pictures back in their old neighborhood where Michael had allegedly gotten a horse and carriage buggy and had the buggy drive the family around the neighborhood where they were at. I guess it was as like an anniversary present for his wife. And the thing is, Natalia is not in any of the pictures. All this is going around the time that she was in the apartment by herself. Now, there were people that lived in the apartment that they just didn't understand. Now, Natalia was on the first floor of that apartment, but there were still steps that led up to the front door, and she had trouble. She had so much trouble walking. People were helping her. This is and that. And it's just, dude, I don't. This case is frustrating. Because though I agree, I believe wholeheartedly that she was a child. She was definitely a minor. Like I said, unless she was 18, even if she was 16, 17 years old, still shouldn't have been in an apartment by herself. So even if she was a little bit older than what she was saying she was at the time, still should have been in an apartment by herself. So this case is very frustrating. Because the simple fact is, there's a lot of medical evidence that proves that she was a minor, and you can't. It's hard to refute that. You can't look past that. And in any case, mainly Michael, because like I said, Christine, she has not really said much. She did one interview that they kind of played through that documentary, and she hasn't really said much after that. Like I said, that's probably the smartest thing she did. But it's crazy because even during that interview, Jacob and Michael were talking in a time where they thought they were talking by themselves. They're at the top of the steps, and Jacob didn't realize his mic was still on, and he slips up and says something to the effect of, the part where we're not going to talk about the part where she was thrown down the stairs, right? That's what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden he says, "Oh crap, my mic's still on," and then it cuts, like that episode cuts, and I'm like, "What?" I feel like Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. What? That's what I felt like. So I felt like watching that stupid thing, man. I was like,
Hold up.
what?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right. But it's crazy. Like I said, if you haven't got a chance to see it, please definitely go look at it. Like I said, I believe it's on Hulu. I think you can definitely check it on Hulu. But if you have that the ability, if like you're streaming, you have ID um on your streaming platform, just look up the curious case of Natalia Grace. And it's like I said, you'll walk out of that and you'll walk out of it thinking that Michael and Christina are definitely the evilest, some of the evilest parents to ever walk the face of the earth. He did nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing to help him out, or see him in the light of as being a victim, as that he's trying to claim himself to be. Um, the fact that they said that Natalia, was threatening to kill him, his wife, and the boys. The fact that Natalia, he said he woke up and Natalia was standing by their bedside. And this is what got me. He said, we woke up and she was standing over us holding a knife. Okay, unless your bed is underneath the house, how is she standing over you? Like, and I mean, I'm not trying. It's funny. I'm not trying to be funny. It's, I'm,
Is that a short joke?
no, I'm not trying to be funny. But if you watch the videos or you look at any picture of her, there is no way that child could stand over anybody. She's not standing over her toys. Okay? My thing is, how are you going to say she's standing over you holding a knife? If you looked at any pictures or videos of her trying to eat, she can barely hold a fork and a knife. How is she standing over you with a knife, talking about she's waiting for you to go to sleep so she can kill you? And you never once filed a police report? You never once called the police and reported any of this stuff? None of this stuff comes out until after somebody's saying that you know they're going to charge you with neglect of a dependent. And like, oh, we feared for our lives. Obviously, you didn't fear that much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, you talking like you in Jurassic Park 1 through 12, however many they made. You know what I'm saying? You're still making dinosaurs, so I guess you're not that afraid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, come on now. Like, how you gonna say you afraid of a look? That's like I told people. People talk about the whole Chucky, and and Child's Play. Like, yo, man, that dog's around. Like, first of all, I would have punted that fool as if I was Adam Vinatieri punting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Those years that he was the main kicker, the main field goal kicker for the Patriots, and he was winning all those Super Bowls for the Patriots. I'd have been like Adam Vinatieri, saying in my prime, kicking field goals, winning Super Bowls. I'd have kicked that sucker across the freaking state. Standing over my if I woke up and that fool standing over my I'd have woke up immediately and said, boop, boop. She'd have been out. Hey, she'd have been out the window. I'm not playing. I ain't playing around with that. I ain't playing around. I ain't playing around with that. If you're gonna threaten me, they trust and believe I'm coming with it. Now, I'm not saying I mean, no. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna feel threatened in my own house. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna feel threatened in my own house. If that's the case, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm filing reports. That way it's on paper. Second thing I'm doing, I'm calling somebody to come get this fool. Because if they don't come get this fool, then I'm gonna be brought up on charges for manslaughter or something else. But anyways, Big Sam, where are you at so far with this? And how we're doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know what you was just talking about. I'm talking about Adam Vinatieri, man, and Chucky.
Hey, man, I'm saying I'd have put my field goal kicker shoes on, man. That's what I'm saying. Call me messy because I'm kicking field goal, kicking goals. This for I'm running around, rip my shirt off. Go!
Wait, Brett. I know it's not football, but four is what you say in golf. Goal is what you say in football. What are you trying to say here, Brett?
I think she was going to a golf reference.
She
I'm
was
sorry,
she
Sam.
was
It's a
doing a
golf
golf
word.
reference.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a sport reference, man, that I can use now. Shot put. I'll toss that little bastard. There you go. There's my thoughts, man. I don't. You went off on Adam Vinatieri and Chucky, man. I was just like, huh?
I would want to see that. I would want to see you with her in your hand, spinning around and
Man,
launching.
as soon as
Are
you
you
said it, I started
visualizing that?
imagining it.
Hey, man, I'm throwing that kid at least 25 feet.
Like I imagine the scene from Austin Powers International Spy when he's in the room with Mini Me, and they said they're bringing him in as a he's defecting, and him and Austin Powers and Mini Me have that fight scene and everything. That's what I'm imagining. You know what I'm saying? I'm grabbing her, throwing her in the refrigerator. I'm slamming her head against the refrigerator. I'm freaking tossing her against the wall. I mean, I'm like, yo, you gonna stand over me with a knife? Pimping? What? Huh?
I'm still trying to visualize that. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, she is 3'2",
Sure.
something like
She's
that.
small. She's small. Yeah, she's small. I mean,
How do they
like I
sleep,
said,
they sleep on the floor?
that's what I'm saying. Unless your bed was underneath the house, how is this child standing over you with a knife? That is not believable whatsoever.
My only guess is they had watched Orphan the night before, and they were having a very lucid dream, and
Man, they was
like
on acid.
implanted her visual structure and everything into their dream. And what the hell are you doing? We know you got big lips, but why you got to make
No,
them?
that's my I don't think so, partner. That's my I don't think so, partner.
She was I was close, and I totally
She was
guessed
what?
3'2".
3 foot. 3 foot. That's crazy.
But I mean, 3 foot. That doesn't even. My bed stands just over 2 foot off the ground.
Man, that's like I'm 6'1", 6'2". You talking about 3 foot? Like,
Alicia Faye, we are not allowed to use that word. The
what she
correct,
say?
the correct,
Oh,
the
correct
political
term is little
correct
person.
term is either little person or dwarf.
Yes.
We are not
Luckily,
allowed.
that's not.
I
gonna go
actually got my live on TikTok shut down for using that word, and that was the username of the person that came in. Do you think she wanted a small child to hook up with the little man's?
Are you talking about the movie Little Man?
No, I think she's talking about the one of the kids of the man's. She wore stilts. I'm telling you, it sounds.
No, I don't know about that.
Christine, the car.
What?
Christine Barnett.
Yeah, about it.
Those text messages to the little man. Was she's watching the series right now.
Oh.
So apparently
okay.
she's at the point in episode 5. She's at the point where Christine Barnett is texting or sexting a little man, a little person.
Oh. Well, yeah. I almost forgot about that part. Yeah. No, no. That's definitely not. No. Yeah, I'm telling you, this whole story is just I don't understand why. I don't understand why we have this stuff in America. Like what's going on? Like why is this? I don't understand why people. I don't understand why people, even with this with disabilities, with whether it's race, whether it's gender. Why human nature, why humanity is lost. I don't understand what the draw is to treat somebody like trash. I just don't get it. When we've talked about cases where some of the stuff happens, like we talked about the Junko murder. We talked about some of the cases like that where they just and the next case we're going to be talking about is the last case, like the last case we're actually, because we're going to do JFK next, and then we're going to be doing a case. I Actually, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, because you might want to do some research on it. It's called the Hello Kitty murders. It happened in Japan, and that one is really one of the sickest ones we'll probably talk about. But I just don't understand why devaluing someone's existence is such a thrill to some people. I don't understand why it is that Des and I were talking about this, and Ace and we all were talking about this last night when it comes to a lot of these cases, and we were looking up different cases, and you see a lot of cases where mothers have taken the lives of their children. And I want you, if you're in the studio audience right now, if you're watching this episode later, I want you to think about something. What I'm about to say. How many cases are there of women, mothers, taking the lives of their children versus single fathers taking the lives of their children? Yet still, we live in a society where they automatically give custody to the mother without remotely doing some type of either psych eval on both parents, checking living conditions of both parents, deciding what is actually best for the child. They automatically decide to give custody to the mother.
And I'm going
And
to add
then
something too.
fathers get labeled as, especially, and I'll let you add, but
Yeah.
fathers get labeled as being deadbeat dads, not being in the child's life. But most people don't take the time to ask, okay, first of all, is the mother allowing the father to be in the child's life? Is the mother allowing the father to call the child? And I'm from personal standpoint, I've had my own parents say this to me. I've had people say this to me. Well, you should make more of an effort to try to. If I try to do too much, then that could be deemed as, oh well, see, that's the reason why he shouldn't have, visitation with the child, because he's coming off, he's scaring me or he's scaring the child. This is that. That's just extra ammo for them to try to use to say that, oh, well, you shouldn't be, you don't need to have custody of the child. It's stuff like these cases. Yes, it's a little off topic, but it's not off topic. The cases like this really, it shakes my faith in human nature. It shakes my faith in humanity. I think about the time when I was the times I spent in the military and everything I did and what I fought for. And it's like, what was I really honestly fighting for? At times, I really wonder that. I fought for the rights for people to treat, for these parents to treat this child like this, and then walk away scot free, because we fought for a justice system that will allow idiot judges to make a decision that these people treated this child, who was a child, treat this child, leave her alone for a whole year in an apartment where she couldn't take care of herself, and then say, well, because she was actually 22, because her age changed, there's no reason to charge you with anything. But they illegally changed her age. That doesn't come into play. Base, what do you guys say?
this goes along with the taking the word of the mother over the father whenever it comes to kids and everything, sort of, kind of, in a roundabout way. I recently changed my primary care physician, and whenever I went to my appointment and I had my initial consultation, everything went fine. And then we go to one of her appointments, and they always have a list of questions that they ask. One of the questions that always gets me is, do you feel safe at home?
No.
But
Oh, sorry.
let me ask this question. How many times have any of us been asked that question whenever we go see a doctor?
I will say I get asked all the time, but that's because I deal with the VA.
Outside of your PTSD.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, even my regular physician, because Des has gone with me before, and the doctors they ask me that. Now, other regular doctors, no, I don't get asked that question. The VA, I would say, well, this VA, the ones that I've dealt with, they ask me that almost every single time I go to a visit. They
Well,
always ask me that.
because of your background and
Yes.
what you've gone through and everything,
Yeah.
they ask you at a VA hospital because that is considered
Yeah.
a specialty hospital,
Yes.
and
100.
they have to ask you because, do you feel safe at home? Not
Mhm.
necessarily because of Des, but because of yourself. But whenever they ask a female that question, if the guy makes a joke, it's not good,
No.
because they look at us and say, I really need you to answer this question.
Or they ask you to step outside.
Yeah, but I personally have never been asked that question.
Mm.
And it's messed up because there is that stigma between men and women, where women always get the benefit of the doubt and men have to prove themselves. I mean, I know that we've
Yes.
gotten off topic of what we the subject is for tonight, but with you bringing up the next case and cases that have coincided with that, it's always the unless they've got something on the woman that proves that they are beyond a shadow of a doubt unfit to be able to take care of a child. 95% of the time, the state rules for the woman
It's
without
higher than
doing,
95%.
huh? Well,
It's higher than
I'm
95%.
just
Yeah,
benefiting
I hear what
the
you're
doubt
saying.
depending on the state, because some states are pro man, and
Ugh. I hate hearing that. I hate
I
hearing
know
the fact that states are pro mother, pro father, whatever. It should be pro parent. Like, what is the best situation for the child? Like, that's the thing. I'm saying, okay, and like I said, yes, and I agree with you. Maybe this is a little bit off of the subject, but it kind of still plays into it because it goes back to originally in UK. Natalia's mother was told by the doctor that your child would be better off going to an orphanage because of her medical issues. She would have a better chance, number one, of either getting adopted or at least being taken care of at the orphanage, and you would be much better off having an opportunity to go try to have another healthy child. Okay, so there's that. And then, like I said, when we talked about, as far as, the child going with, the mother or the father, the reason why I say that is because the simple fact is there's no real screening when it comes to that. There's no real screening. I think I believe. Well, I know for the most part, there's more screening for parents who are trying to adopt a child than there is that it's in existence for a couple who have children and then divorce and now they have to try to figure out where the child's going to live. There's absolutely no screening whatsoever when it comes to that. And that's my thing, is that you got these people out here who are able to adopt children, and I don't know how many stories I've seen where people are adopting these children, and then they have them doing all kind of crazy stuff at the house, turn them into basically slaves at their house because they're just able to adopt these children. And the case with this child with Natalia is, it never should have been that way. Never. If the child had issues, number one, she had a lot of abandonment issues. Because people can say what they want to about the first two families. We don't know. There wasn't really any interviews done with the first two families. So we don't honestly really know 100% why they really gave her up. It could have been the simple fact that they realized that child was going to need some major surgeries, and they were not financially able to take care of that. That could have been down the line. That's one of the theories, speculations that goes along with why the Barnetts had her re-aged, because then they could say at 22 they're not legally obligated to pay for any surgery because she's an adult. She has to figure it out on her own. And that's what bothers me when it comes to this, is that how is it none of her medical records came into play? If you don't want to talk about her age, fine, cool, whatever. The medical records still should have came into play. The judge still should have had it, because it wasn't a jury, it was the judge making the decision. Which means if you didn't want to present it during the trial, fine. Give the evidence to the prosecution, give the evidence to the defense, and give the evidence to the judge, and the judge makes a decision on it. This should never have happened. And this child still should not be going through this stuff. I keep calling her a child. She's in her 20s. I mean, if they go by the legal change, she's what, 30, 33, I think, maybe 33, 30, 32, 33. Or in her 30s. She's in her 30s. If you go by the legal change, she's in her 30s.
99, 2009.
We're really going to do this?
20. Fuck. 89, 99, 2009, 2019, 35?
34.
34. Okay, 34. Thank you.
Okay.
So, like I said, she's in her 30s. I said originally 33, so I was a year off. I mean, of course, this whole case, you're talking about being years off when it comes to this girl's age. But anyways, what I'm saying is, if you go by that, she's 34. Okay. But if you go by her original birthday, she's only what, 20, 2003. She'll be 20 what, 21? Okay, so she'll be 21. That's a big difference.
She's 20 right now. September 4th, she'll be 21.
21. So I mean, that's a big difference. It's like, how I don't. I said, this case is it. This one to me bothers me more than the Mandela effect, as far as like just messing with my mind, only because this is something that is 100% real. Mandela effect, it's just like, hey, this things that, well, maybe this didn't really this happened. And
this
it happened
was
to
kind of like a sweeper case.
Yeah.
And
it was
swept under the rug.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't remember hearing anything about it until I think I might have been surfing the net, seen something about it, and then I was watching ID one day, and it came up, and I was like, oh, that's that one case I saw on YouTube, and then I ended up watching it that day. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then, like I said, we started doing the podcast, and then it came up again, and then I revisited it, and I was like, man, this is really messed up. And then when I started researching and looking at other podcasts, people, because I watched multiple podcasts because they all had different types of information and different points of views, and I'm like, man, this is really, really messed up. And the thing is, what's sad about it, the thing that makes me the most sad about it is, this is just a drop in an ocean of issues of this type of issues, because this one's dealing with adoption. But what about those that are actually born to these parents that are doing the exact same thing? And that's that to me, that's what really bothers me. That here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take another quick um yeah, we're gonna take another quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna wrap this up and close out this episode of the Birdman Show. So we'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned with the Birdman Show. Maybe. Hey, it's the Birdman here from the Birdman Show. And I have a quick question for you. Are you like me and don't know what to do once the college and NBA basketball seasons are over and you still want to watch basketball? Well, I just might have an answer for your basketball blues. The Tri-State 66ers are a minor league basketball team located in Pittsburgh, Kansas. I know what you're saying. But Birdman, I don't live in Pittsburgh, Kansas. How can I watch all the action? No problem. You can check all the games out on their YouTube channel at Tri-State 66ers. That's Tri-State at 66 ERS. And you can also follow them on their Facebook page at Tri-State 66ers, all words, no numbers, to stay up to date with everything going on with the team. So if you want to watch Major League talent on a minor league budget, check out the Tri-State 66ers. And tell them a bird sent you. Birdman, that is. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's the Birdman, and we're back with the Birdman Show. Do it with me one time. That's right. We are here on the Birdman Show, and on this episode, we have been talking about the case of Natalia Grace. I almost did it again. I was doing pretty good there for a while. Natalia Grace.
Well, on the plus side, at least you didn't call her Gypsy this time.
I didn't. This time I did not call her Gypsy. I had mistakenly called her Gypsy at least 3 or 4 times. Because my head was still spinning around watching the act on Hulu. So I apologize. But we've been talking about this case with Natalia Grace, the craziness behind it. We got a little bit and see that's the thing about a case like this. A case like this will have you in your feels, and it'll start making you think about and get upset about, other things that may not necessarily line up with what you're talking about, but in your heart it lines up with it because of how you feel about it. And I think that's what happened with us at the end of the last segment. Like, I apologize for going off the way I did, but there's so many things wrong with so many different systems that we have in place here in the United States. And I'm just going to talk about the United States. People say, well, the world's messed up. I don't care about the rest of the world. I don't live in the rest of the world. I live in the United States. And a lot of the systems that we have in place, whether it's the legal system, whether it's, like the systems we're talking about here with adoption, there's so many systems that are in place that are straight broken. And no one is taking the time to try to fix it, because a lot of these systems are making millions, and in some cases billions of dollars, and the people that are making the money, they're not interested in trying to fix it. And they're hoping that the rest of the people living here in the United States, they don't care enough about it to try to get something fixed. So that's the problem. Unless it affects you directly, you don't think about it. You don't care about it. It's not something that's in the forefront of your mind. So why would you want to try to fix something? So to me, like I said, that's kind of what would happen with this last segment there towards the end. So I do apologize. Hey, look, at the same time, it's the Birdman Show, and you'll find that out even when we do the recap, or even if you join Ace on his trivia nights or any other nights that he's doing a live stream on TikTok. Nothing is off subject, and nothing's off topic, really.
It's never scripted, and you never know what direction it's going to go.
No, you never know. You absolutely never know. Okay, so What, Big Sam? I'm gonna start with you. Okay, as you think about the things that we talked about with this case, um, and factor in how you may feel about this case. I'm put this towards both of you, but we're gonna start with Big Sam. Factor in how you feel about this case, um, and then everything we've learned with your own research or with things that each of us have brought to the table with this topic. what are what's your stance, and how do you truly feel about everything that happened with Natalia, um, and how the Barnetts were and their role in this situation?
Excuse me. Shit. I would
Don't do
kind of
that.
say I'm a little disappointed. And I say that because I was kind of really hoping that everything they were saying was going to be true and we were going to get a real life movie. Um, so I was kind of a little disappointed. I think it would have made things a little more interesting. Personally, there really haven't been too many cases that we've talked about that have really kind of like hit me or made me feel a certain type of way. This is kind of one of them. I don't really necessarily feel a certain way towards her or the Barnetts or the justice system or whatever. I think there were failures, with doctors or the judge or whoever. There were definitely failures. But I kind of think it was just a thing of the Barnetts possibly seeing that movie, The Orphan, and just kind of trying to make it a real life movie. Because if you look at a lot of the things in that movie compared to this case, the girl in the movie was from Russia. Natalia's from Ukraine. They were both around 8, 9 years old. Whenever she was adopted, when the girl in the movie was adopted. Um, they when they changed her age, it would have made her what, like 34 or something like that. Like it's roughly the same age as the girl in the movie. So I think it was just a thing that they tried to kind of play off that movie a little bit. Excuse me. Um, and it obviously didn't work out too well for them. Um, I haven't seen the ID show, but I have seen some clips and things from it. You know, Michael's kind of an idiot, but he's kind of a good actor too. I mean, from like clips I've been seeing and shit. Well, I mean, like if everything that he's saying is false, I've seen some clips of him like crying and like going off and like getting like super emotional and stuff. If you're lying, then like why are you acting like that? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but when I saw his picture, it distinctly like made me remember this interview that I had seen. So I don't know if it's from that ID show in particular that it happened, but I know from something that I had seen, he was getting like super emotional about it.
Was he sitting in was he
So
sitting in kind of like a recliner?
yeah, I think so.
That was from the ID. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. That's
So
yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about that
I
in a
don't know.
minute.
Maybe he's just disappointed because he got caught in his lie or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's a weird case though, man. Overall.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Um.
You guys,
Yeah.
you guys talk about me being a man of few words. I rambled for like 2 minutes.
You did a
There you
great job.
go.
You did
So
a great
proud of you,
job.
Sam. So proud of you. You're
Yeah, I'm
growing.
very proud of you. Ace, where are you at with that?
Um, I hate to call you out on this, Sam. Chances are the reason why you don't feel one way or the other whenever this case comes to light is because you don't have kids. Being someone who
No, you're
I
not
does,
got
calling
you.
me
Got
out. That's just true.
uh, what was you saying?
business. These are facts that I'm happy about.
Being a father and seeing the way that this little girl was treated, it infuriates me. No matter what her condition is, no matter what her health looks like, everything that she has to go through and endure in her life following all of this, it's the way that they treated her after having her as a part of their family for 2 years, just completely turning their back on her, leaving her to fend for herself at the age of 9. That it infuriates me that they got charged with nothing. They got off scot-free for abandoning a child. And the sad part of it is, it happens so often in this world. You just don't recognize it because it's not a dwarf from Ukraine. I mean, it gets brought up, but it doesn't make national news. And it's sad that something like this happens every day, and it's not brought up publicly as much as what it probably should be. So I actually said all that without cursing.
I was waiting. um, here's my take on it. I'm right there with both of you. On the points you brought up. Like where I differ with you, Big Sam, with you, like you're saying, he's either a good actor, he's not a good actor, he's horrible. And the reason why I say that, because he was way too over the top. I mean, way over the top. When I watched how they followed him around before the hearing, his mannerisms and everything. I mean, he if anything, even if he was telling the truth, then he just comes out as just being extremely awkward, an awkward individual, like just one of those people that you're like, well, they mean well, but they're just a little out there. If he's telling the truth, if he was telling the truth, if he's not telling the truth, then he becomes the most uncredible witness ever to anything. He just doesn't come off believable at all. And the fact, even in the one interview that Christine did, she didn't come off believable. The fact that there's recorded phone conversations of Christine basically, telling Michael, "Hey, stop talking. You're doing too much talking. We're in a lot of trouble here. Just stop." And the video evidence that they present, that those idiots were recording themselves, and the things that they did to her show just the gross negligence when it comes to this. There's that. The other thing is, there is not one shred of evidence that backs their story. The only thing they have is the fact that they got her age legally changed by one doctor. Every other doctor that she saw that they took her to had her aged as a minor. Oldest age being 11. It wasn't like she's 11. It was between 8 and 11 years old. And that was the thing. I think the courts, well, the judge in particularly, really screwed this one up. And I think that the Barnetts really got away with it. And I really feel sorry for Natalia. She is in a great situation now, with the family she's with, and I hope and pray that she continues to grow and heal mentally and spiritually. And I just hope that she just has, she's in a much better place. So I hope she just continues to grow, and I'm rooting for her, and I'm hoping I see Michael in public somewhere. Not playing. But look, we're gonna wrap this. We're gonna wrap this show up. This has been another crazy case that we've dealt with. Like I said, make sure you join us next week. I believe we're gonna have Matthew back with us next week because we will be tackling the assassination of JFK. We've been playing around with some different titles with that as far as what we're gonna do. I think we're just gonna focus that episode on the assassination of JFK, all the theories, all the speculation, all the rumors, everything. We're gonna tackle everything when it comes to that. And we're gonna deal with that. And then the following week, we are going to be tackling a case called the Hello Kitty murders. That is insane. It's an insane case. Now, I'm saying all that to say this. We're only going to do 20 episodes per season. So this is episode 18, the case of Natalia Grace. We'll be doing episode 19, which would be the JFK assassination, and episode 20, which would be the final episode of the season on the Hello Kitty murders. Then we're gonna probably take about a week off, take a week vacation, go to Disney World, and we'll come back ready for season 3, episode
vacation.
1. Yeah, it's gonna be unpaid vacation. All this is unpaid, but we'll be coming back with season 3, episode 1, and it's going to be a big one. I'm not gonna say what we're gonna do now. I might give you a little preview in episode 20 at the end of episode 20, but it is what it is. But yeah, another crazy episode. Do either one of you have any closing remarks before we get up out of here?
Shit, I forgot. I muted.
Okay.
I was grabbing my.
Yeah, actually, Ace is about to get. I know Ace is about to get ready for trivia.
Yeah.
Ace, tell the people real quick where they can find you for that.
Whenever you do a search for me on TikTok, just do a search for Ace Whore. That's ACEHORE. No, not Tyler Perry. And Wednesdays immediately following the podcast at 8 p.m. Central Time on TikTok. It will be on TikTok. It's on TikTok, and then of course Thursdays. Apparently tomorrow is going to be up in the air on what time we start. My sister
We'll probably start at the same time, regardless if I go or not. I could do the recap anywhere, so it's not that big a deal.
Okay, so 6:00 p.m. Central tomorrow, right?
Yes. I'm sorry. I got a notification.
Okay. For the recap, but yeah, if you are into trivia, come see us. ACEHORE, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central, immediately following the podcast. It's a good time.
Yes, that is correct. Definitely, if you're on TikTok, drop by. It's fun. Like I said, I usually get on there after we get done with the podcast. We have a great time. It's fun. And like Ace said, Thursdays we do the Birdman Show recap on my TikTok profile, which is at Birdman Show. Like I said, once again, if you want to become part of the live studio audience and join us live while we record our episodes, you can go to riverside.fm/studio/Birdman's-studio. You can always catch all of our past episodes of the Birdman Show on our YouTube channel by just going to YouTube and typing in Birdman Show Podcast 9643. Look, hey, oh, I almost forgot. The audio version of the Birdman Show, you can catch us on Spotify by just going in and typing in Birdman Podcast. I almost did it again. The Birdman Podcast, not the Birdman Show. It's the old one. Just something taken down. Birdman Podcast. Like I said, hey, I want to thank everybody who joined us from the live studio audience. Definitely always want to thank my co-host, Sam and Ace. Also want to send a special thank you to Becca, who was the one who gave us this topic. What? Becky. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Becky. I'm
Becca
sorry,
is her
Becca.
Facebook name, but it's Becky.
Oh, okay. So it's Becky. Okay. Pick a freaking name so that way I know which one to call you. So Becky, we want to thank you for giving us this topic. We really appreciate it. Like I said, if you have any ideas for topics for anything for us, you can join us on the recap show on my TikTok page profile, or you can send me a message at tbs.birdman@gmail.com. Leave a message on my TikTok. Leave a message on Ace's TikTok. And if you have, like I said, if you have an idea, get with us. Like I said, for the Birdman Show, for Ace, for Big Sam, for Becky, who gave us the idea, for everybody who joined us in the live studio audience, and for everybody who's watching this on our YouTube channel or listen to us on Spotify, thank you once again for joining the Birdman Show. I am the Birdman, and we out. Do it with me one time.